Welcome back to American Latino TV. I'm Valerie Ortiz. Up next, it's time to step in the octagon. Costa Mesa, California resident Tony Ferguson is one of the fastest rising lightweights in mixed martial arts. After earning his place in the UFC, the biggest MMA organization in the world, by winning the Ultimate Fighter tournament, Tony has ripped right through a lineup of opponents and is knocking on the door of a championship fight. And while hard work and dedication in the gym might have sharpened his skills in the cage, his fearlessness comes from persevering through a personal journey, one which took him from his California roots on a detour to the Midwest, where he was the only Latino in a small town. Well, today, we get to join Tony for an all-access pass to his training camp to see how this humble family man transformed into fierce gladiator before his upcoming bout. American Latino Athletes, presented by McDonald's. For MMA fighter Tony Ferguson, his journey towards stardom was not always a clear-cut journey. But when life took him out of his element is when he found no other way to deal with obstacles but to take them head-on.
My name is Tony Ferguson. I'm season 13 winner of the Ultimate Fighter, professional UFC fighter for the best organization in the world, UFC.
Tony Ferguson!
I have to say a lot of changes happened when I was growing up. I was born in Oxnard, California. Father wasn't around. I had a stepdad step in the picture and basically said, hey, I want to raise this kid to my mom. They got married. He immediately threw me into sports, saw that my attention was everywhere, and they used sports as a gateway to keep me, focused growing up. I grew up in Muskegon, Michigan. It was pretty hard. It felt like I was like the only Mexican kid out there, and just coming from, from California, where I had all my extended family, to Michigan, where it was just the three of us, But what it did was it made me stronger. It made me hone in everything and kind of whatever happened on the outside, I kept it to myself. I wasn't one to go and whine to my parents. Any problems that I had, I kept it to myself. And whenever I played sports, you felt what I was feeling inside on that field.
Go, circle, team. There it is, jump on it.
Actually, I went to Central Michigan University. I didn't like the coach. I really wasn't too much into wrestling. I was more into the partying until my buddy called me up, and from high school, he was like, hey, Tony, hey, we got this guy named Gitch. Remember Gitch? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, well, he's practicing for his third-time national championship. We were wondering if, you guys are the same weight, but we need more practice guys in the room. Long story short, I went in there and I smoked this guy. So then, the next day, the coach calls me up and he's like, hey, Ferguson, what are you doing next year? I don't know, coach. I just didn't ever really think about it. No, you're coming here to school. You're gonna come here and we're gonna wrestle for Grand Valley State. And he got me at Grand Valley State. And that year, we ended up winning nationals as a team. And I ended up winning nationals at 165 pounds. From college wrestling to professional MMA was just hand in hand. It was just the next step. As soon as we got done filming the last fight, they brought me into the room. They excused Eric Paulson out of the room, and then it was just my manager, my old manager, Brian Stegman, Marty Morgan, and then Brock Lesnar. And they're like, Tony, we want to do something for you. So went back. I had 1 week spent at home. Told the lady, I proposed to her as soon as I got back. I'm out of here. I'm barely starting to let them come back around because I had to push everybody away to get to my happy spot, to where I can focus and have the outside world in there. Because being a pugilist is hard. Because you let that outside world in, it makes you soft sometimes. It's you in that cage. Nobody else is in there with you. You put that training inside and outside of that cage, you need to be mentally prepared before you get inside there. And that's exactly what I do. Is when I tell my trainers and I tell my family, I'm like, look at my eyes. You guys can tell if I'm there or not. And if I'm not there, then just say a prayer for me. I'm the first Tony Ferguson, so I have to set my pace early. So if anybody wants to be the next Tony Ferguson, then they're gonna have a hell of a time catching up.
Tony Ferguson!